Hi everyone. Whenever we think about jobs in tech, it's easy to imagine crazy high salaries, amazing perks, and super flexible work schedules. There is a darker side to tech. It isn't always windsurfing during Independence Day with an obscene amount of sunscreen on. And today, I'm gonna shed a bit of spotlight on some of those darker areas, those darker nooks and crannies of what it is like to be at a profession in tech. And today I will be talking about the software engineering role in particular, but I imagine some of the other subsidiary roles like product designer and whatnot are also going to have some of these same challenges. So whenever you're talking about tech, whether it comes to the delivery timelines, whether it comes to how quickly the stock price rises or how quickly the stock price drops, how quickly these companies are about hiring and firing employees, everything happens really quick and with a very high turnover. So no matter what task is assigned to you as a software engineer, you will always be working with a deadline. And as you become a more senior software engineer, there's going to be times when you are going to be responsible for shepherding a particular task or a project across the finish line. And there isn't a lot of hand-holding. Whenever you're assigned to a task, you have to get it done by that deadline. You're responsible for it. Now, if you have supportive teammates, you can go to your teammates and ask them questions or ask them for clarifications on things you don't have a full understanding of. But at the end of the day, you are going to be responsible for finishing a task by a deadline if it is assigned to you. Case in point, check out this post by a software engineer working at Adobe. This person is essentially stressed because of deadlines that they think are unreasonable, which have been put upon them by management. And when a task is first assigned to you, it's very hard for you to scope how much work should go into it. So it's likely that the deadline that you've been given is actually quite unreasonable. And that might lead to a lot of overwork and you losing rest and your quality of life even suffering as a result of that stress. Reason number 2, your performance is going to be continuously tracked and analyzed and assessed during each review cycle. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Everything you do, because it is visible to your managers and to your peers, you can then use to make a case for a promotion or a salary bump or any number of other benefits you want because you now have that leverage. But a lot of tech companies have this mandate that they will lay off the bottom percentile of their performers. Your ability to perform during a particular quarter will depend on a number of things, and some of these things are not in your control. For example, if you don't have the best manager who gives you meaningful work, you're not going to be able to do meaningful work. If your teammates aren't very cooperative, you're not going to be able to get help in getting a particular project completed. And not to mention, there can always be life events that can put a strain on your mental health. Check out this post by an employee, a software engineer at Amazon, who's just been put on PIP. A PIP stands for a Performance Improvement Plan or Program. And the idea is if your performance has not met the expectations set by your manager, then your manager gives you an opportunity to redeem yourself and take some corrective actions and get back on track. But at some companies, it's a gentle reminder that we're about to fire you. This individual who made the post is claiming that one of their teammates was a rock star, but they got put on PIP and are marked to be laid off. And that's just what I mean. When it comes to comparing performances, it can be a pretty cutthroat scene out in tech. Number 3, let's talk about non-performance related firings. But layoffs happen everywhere, you say, and you'd be right. But here's why a tech company might be more prone to having more frequent layoffs. It's very common for a tech company to go through a period of very high growth. And in this period of ultra high growth, it's common for the management of a tech company to overestimate the amount of work that they can get done and therefore fill up the quotas for the amount of employees they need to get said work done. But come a time of economic downturn or some other external industry-wide factor that causes a downturn of the company's business, they may not be able to fulfill on their original promises to complete these initiatives they planned to complete. So they're going to have to shut down a lot of initiatives, and with these shutdowns of initiatives, they're going to have to lay off all the employees that were part of those initiatives, even if those employees were rock stars. Reason number 4, the fact that you have a very flexible schedule or a potentially flexible schedule in tech might come back and bite you in the A. When you're responsible for a feature and it's getting close to the release date of that feature, there will be times when work will spill over into your after work hours. Heck, if you're on call, there will be times during the weekend, in the middle of the night, when your pager might go off and you're going to have to be responsible for writing some code or doing something in the production environment to fix the issue that has happened. But yes, on-call duty is more of an exception when it comes to a software engineer's job. And number 5, the final reason why I think software engineering can be a stressful job. Before I get into it, guys, if you could just hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon, I would be forever grateful. As a software engineer, you have to commit to being a lifelong learner. There's always going to be new tools and technologies that come about and make all the other tools and technologies that you spent years and years getting familiar with and gaining expertise in obsolete. Now, this doesn't mean that everything you've learned up until that point essentially becomes useless. You're essentially going to have to just be proactive about keeping an eye out for technologies that may seem interesting or that may be on the up and up. But you could turn around this challenge and look at it in a positive way. The fact that you are going to embark on a journey that lets you be a lifelong learner, where there is always new things to learn and look out for, is not a bad thing. So there you have it. Those are all the reasons I think, and I'm sure there's other reasons, but those are all the reasons I think why software engineering can be a really stressful job. But that is precisely why you see so many folks making obscene amounts of money as a software engineer. Literally, the work that you do can affect the lives and experiences of millions upon millions of people. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.